Hello scrappy friends. Okay, so as you may well know, 2 weeks ago was International Scrapbooking Day. It's always the first Saturday in May. Because of my new meds messing with my eyesight, I didn't get any scrapping done that weekend. I did see someone, Steph, Twilight Crafts, did a little spreadsheet of all the different things that were going on so she could keep track, and thought I like that, so I've done one too. And then with this I've printed the scrap lift challenges from Hey Little Magpie, the prompts from Bramble Fox, sketches from Go Go, the scrap lifts from Scrap Squad, and scrap lift from Paige Evans. So basically, I'm not going to hit most of these deadlines, but I just thought it's good prompts for what to do when I'm not sure what I'm doing. So I have these pictures from Norton Priory to scrap. I knew straight off I wanted to do a grid because I've got 4 pictures, and it just so happens challenge 2 for Bramble Fox, it's grid design, and it has to include a selfie. Got a selfie. So this is where I'm up to. I'm using Where To Next. This is Cool Breeze. And back to B-side, this grid paper. To me that looks like a cutting mat. I don't know about anybody else. Just going to cut the branding strip off it. I just thought that this would be a good background for a grid. I don't know what you think. And then I've got these offcuts from the 6x8 paper. That's actually 12x12, and that's from 12x12. So I've got these offcuts from other layouts I've already done, and I thought actually I quite like them, so I'm gonna use them. I need to find my middle point. And these squares, well, these mats that I've done are 4 by 4 3/4, and the pictures are just a smidge under 3 by 4. I'm not sure if these are going to go dead centre yet, which this little arrangement here puts them in the middle, because I'm going to do more layers, and I also need somewhere for the title, which I suppose should be Norton Priory, seeing that's where we are. I'm thinking I'll cut some more of these butterflies out for embellishments. Could really have done with another sheet of that for cutting flowers out, but I only bought one of them. But I might cut some out from 6x8. That's not going to be easy. I don't think I can do that in my scan and cut, because there's so many that just overlap onto each other, so it's not going to cut much out, but I can hand cut them. Got them. I've got my cutter parts, my Where To Next cutter parts from Hey Little Magpie. These are you can put the the epoxies over them, the naked epoxies. So what I'm going to do with this one is I am going to put you on fast forward. So that's the intro, and we'll get on fast forward and check in with you at the end. Okay, so just measuring and making sure the photos were the size I thought they were. I'm going to mat them on some white card just to lift them from the different pattern papers that they are on. Give them all a white base. So I've just made those pieces just 1/8 bigger than the photos because I only wanted a skinny border around each of the pictures. So I do that with all 4 of them. And then from there, I think I changed my mind about the backing. Oh, okay. I've took the papers with the butterfly off to the scan and cut, and I've cut all these butterflies out. And then thinking about how I'm going to use them, this is when I've changed my mind about the background. So I'm going to have this paper, which is the pink sort of messy grid. What I do decide to do is, because I want the grid and not the border around the photos, because the border wouldn't be equal all the way around, so I just wanted the grid piece. I got a 10" by 10" square out the middle of the paper, which then gives me a frame or a border to use and mat for another layout. And then I've just got this 10 by 10 frame gutty piece in the middle. Now 10 by 10 is fine going horizontal, but vertical I only need it to be 8.5 inches, so I do cut it back down into a rectangle. And then the reason why I've gone for this lighter paper behind is I want to do some mixed media. I was just having a look at a piece of white cardstock to mat it, because I had thought I cut this paper down smaller than 12 inches. It's only about 1/8, so it doesn't really need backing. So I decided I want to do mixed media behind the mat, the turquoise JD mat. So I'm just marking down on my base piece the square, the rectangle, the 10 inches by 8.5 inches, that's going to cover, to give me an idea of the of where the mixed media needs to go. So I'm using the paints from Where To Next, Vicki's metallic paints, just getting each from where. With these, are same as with shimmers, you know, when you've got the solid shimmers, you put the water on and let it soak in a bit, or if you're really impatient, you do what I'm doing there with the gold and just go for it. This is really wet on the first piece, and then the others aren't quite as wet, so I'm just adding some more paint to the paper there to smoosh out with the packaging. And so yeah, I'm doing them in the corners. You can see me there adding more paint again to smoosh out. I could have just added more water and got the paint wetter, which I have done there now. And after I've done that gold, I then clean the brush off, which takes me a minute, and add the bronze, the colour next to it in the palette, that bronzy colour. Again, just adding some more gold there, just get it wetter. And then go in with the bronze and do splats with the packaging technique, smushing technique again with that bronze, just add a bit more water to it, and then go around all 4 sides, overlap it a little bit. So you want the paint, the first layer, to be dry before you add the second layer, so it layers instead of mixes. And that is the case with the 3 sides where it had been a little drier and wasn't quite as wet as the first side. And it's not too bad because I'm coming to the wet end of it. Do give it a quick blast before I go in with the blue, because going in with the blue, it's a completely different colour. It's not just your gold or your bronze tones. So I didn't want this to end up too muddy. That end there, that last bit that I've just done, wasn't as dry as the rest of it, so it does end up a bit muddy at that end, but the rest of it's quite dry, so I do end up with quite a crisp turquoisey colour. I didn't just want to fill the gap at the corner in with this colour. I did want to have it go in between the gold and the bronze as well. If I'm completely honest with you, I hated this at this stage. I was ready to give up and go back to a plain piece. I'm just splattering on some purple there as well, just because some of the plants, the flowers that are in the pictures are purple. So yeah, at this stage I hated it. I was like, what have I done? I've completely messed this piece of paper up. Let's just get a different piece of paper and forget about it. And I was like, no, you know, it always gets like that. Where you hate your mixed media and it looks really messy and horrible, and then you end up falling in love with it. So yeah, at this stage I was persevering, wanting to just throw this piece of paper in the bin. But I persevered and just sticking down my grid mat in the middle. Do want to make sure this is pretty centered, especially considering the fact that I've drawn out the rectangle for the mixed media to go around underneath it. So wanted to make sure it does go back on where I meant for it to go on. Making sure everything still fits and looks okay. And you can see around the edge I am putting in these butterflies that I've cut from the pattern paper, trying to use the ones that are cut from the edge of the paper, and where when I've got, you know, not enough, cutting the full ones in two to give me some of the, you know, top and bottom, left and right. There are ones where, you know, just the tip of a wing is come off, so they're being tucked under where the tip of the wing is, you know, off the page. And yeah, just carrying on, just putting these around. Again, at this stage I'm still hating it. I'm still just persevering. Really don't like it. It actually wasn't until I took the final photo that you'll see at the end and I looked at the photo that I was like, actually I really love this. Hate it all the way up until that point. And yeah, just going in with more butterflies and going around there with that. So I do have 5 butterfly pieces around each side. Try and get them kind of evenly spread. I don't want to be too precious about it. I'm deciding at this point, am I putting all the mats together in the middle or am I having a space between them? I do in the end go with the space. Just go around and stick my butterflies with a bit of Tombow, using Tombow because it's going onto mixed media. You know, you've got the mica in those paints as well, so it's better, I feel, on mixed media to use wet glue. So just doing that, and then once they're all stuck down, I turn my attention to the middle. There's a butterfly that had 2 wings clipped and I didn't realise until I was sticking them down. Now I've stuck all these down and wish actually on some of the bigger ones that I'd put foam underneath the tips of the wings and had them lifting up off the page. I might go back and do that, I'm not sure. What do you think? Okay, so just putting my mats for the photos down now, getting them, try and get them central with a little bit of a gap between them. I do decide to go for a gap between them, so it's just, you know, 1/8 of an inch away from the side. I put that in the wrong spot to begin with and have to replace it. There we go. And just making sure. I could have eyeballed this, I really could have, but I'd rather them have an equal gap around the edge than eyeballing it and getting one completely wonky. I mean, I still think this last one now is a bit wonky, but according to my ruler it's not, so I must have cut something wonky. So here's some photos. I'm going to put the foam on the back, so that's the 2.5 centimetre, the 1 inch square foam pad stick to the big roll you can get from Hey Little Magpie. And I put them all on the back. Okay, so this was a Bramble Fox challenge with scrapbooking day, so I'm getting my Bramble Fox perspectives out. Do change my mind a few times about the title. I'm just getting the covers off there. So with the ones that aren't etched, they have the protective cover on. I did like that Brighter Days in the middle, but it was the same blue, you couldn't really see it. So I then went for this Bliss and then found the spring. So I decided to go for spring Bliss, and I'm just umming and ahhing about, I'm just doing the Bliss, I'm just doing the spring, I'm doing spring Bliss, and where they're going, so they're not, you know, covering any of the flowers really. Okay, so I've then put these 4 butterflies, perspective butterflies. I've got the shocking pink and the same pink as the spring. And they're around the left and the right edge between some of the other butterflies. And then the last box had these applique hearts in as a gift. And it might have been the last, yeah, it was the last one, because I've just opened it, as in last month's. I've opened it now, in this month's is due in a couple of days. So yeah, so I had them on there too, and put that hello card to keep on bringing in and out on layouts. I've finally used it behind that photo in the top right. Just sticking down those perspectives because it's going across multiple layers and the mixed media. They're not wanting to grip, so I brought my water bottle in to sit on top of them. So this gets moved around the page whilst I'm sticking everything down. With perspectives, I do usually use glue dots, but I don't know where they are. And again, it's going on top of mixed media, so I'd rather use wet glue going on top of mixed media, because it's, you know, just better and feels a safer stick. Right, so I put more glue on this title than normally would do. I would only normally just dot little bits on bits of it. Got to be really careful that I put it straight up and down, because if it does end up sliding, I'm going to ruin the photos that it's going on top of. So just really careful with that, and then not tipping it over when I'm taking the foam pads off the top. So yeah, getting to the sticky bit, we're nearly done actually in terms of what's going on the page. And she's won the Hey Little Magpie printables there for I put the date on there in the end. A note on those printables: the square and the circle match. The square and circle tags are the same size as the L Studio standard tag dies. I don't know if these long and thin ones go with the long thin tag dies, because I don't have them, but they probably would, you know, cut with them. Just auditioning some flair there and decide it's too, you know, I've already got loads of dimension. So what I go with are these paper flair. So they're basically circles with icons on, which you could put naked flair on. You know, the little naked epoxy, the little epoxy circles. You can see some on the desk just to the left of the layout there, so you can put them on. Now if you're putting them on those naked epoxy, don't cut them with a border around them, because they make them a little bit bigger. Because I did this on Scan and Cut with the labels, I put a border around everything, so it's made it too big to go on the epoxy. So yeah, if you are wanting to put them on the put the epoxy covers over them, if you do, you know, buy some of them. I've got some in with Foxbox, but they are available to purchase as well. That's it actually. Gosh, yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. That come to an end really quickly. I wasn't expecting that. Thanks, bye.